Welcome to practice 21, which is dated 24/02/09. This part is pretty simplistic as well. This is basically starts with a block on the bottom here, and then we add our shape on the side, with it consists of a cylinder. Probably added the sketch to get the other end here because it doesn't give you a whole lot of information except for where this is at. Anyways, we can just draw this with the sketch. Use a cutout here, the mirror to the other side, add a draft, and that's pretty much it. So we'll just move this over to our other screen for reference, and I'll show you how we do this in IronCAD. So again, I'm going to start with an extrude as our base shape here, and it's got an overall value of 65, and it's got a width value of 42 inside of there, and the height value of that is 8. So we'll go ahead and start with that shape as our starting point. Next, we can either draw a profile to do this, or we can just start with a cylinder to give us a starting point. So usually I start with a cylinder in my case, so I can just flip this to the other direction here. This one has got a diameter of 30 inside of here. So we know this one is got a tangency on the outside, and it's up from the top 37. So let's go ahead and move this using the TriBall. So what we can do is just move it over to our corner point here. So we know that it has to be tangent here. So we'll just move it in since it's 30, so to 15, that's going to be a tangent there. And we need to move it from the bottom 37. So we'll just move it down here. Move from the bottom up 37 in our case. But then it's got to subtract the radius. So we'll subtract 15. So minus 15 inside of there. So that should give us our value. So if you want to just check that, you can just do a dimension from here down to your bottom. That should be a 37. So that's basically giving us our starting point. So now we can use this as our profile to do some other changes. So we'll just go ahead and select that, hit E, and go into our profile. So what we need to do next is draw a cylinder over here, which has actually got a value, a radius of 12 in here. So we'll just go ahead and right click, type in a radius of 12. And what we want to do is move this over 12 because we want this to be tangent to this. So we can just grab the outside edge, move it along this here, and I'm right clicking and dragging, by the way. And we'll say move here, and we're going to set that as negative since it's got a 12 there, and this is going to be 0 to move that. So that aligns us to that location. Next, we want to do a tangent line from our top, and we're going to go down here to find the tangent there. We can see our blue indicator. We can place that. So now we got a tangent to tangent line inside of here, and now we can just draw a polyline from here down to this point over to this point as well. So that basically gives our profile that we need here. So we'll go ahead and just trim some of this off. We don't need any of this excess of our arcs. We just need this one inside of here, and we don't need any of this excess here as well. So we'll just trim that off as well. So now we've got our basic profile here. Now it also gave us some information. Let's just draw another line here. I'm going to draw a line somewhere here, and I'm going to draw it up to some value. So what it gave us is there's actually a cutout on this. And if you have your position dimensions on under display, so I got show endpoint dimensions on, I can actually see where this is located. And they gave us a value of 32. So let's offset that 32 from the center to get that. And then I can simply just do my offset curves for this, or draw another curve either way. In this case, it's going to be 8, and it's going to be offset from that. We want to go to the other side, and there's our cutout. And again, we can just trim out this excess geometry. We don't want any of this here or these two center points. So we just basically want this end piece and this end piece here. So we'll go ahead and finish that, and that gives us our shape that we need. And this thickness is 8 as well, so we'll go ahead and have 8 to set that. Last, we'll go ahead and add our holes here. So we'll go ahead and set this on here, and we know the counter bore is going to be 15 diameter, and it's going to be a depth of 3. So let's get over to there and set it to 3, and it's going to have another hole in the center here. We're just going to drop that into the center there, and that's going to have a diameter of 10. So that's our counter bore for that shape. So that's our entire shape here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and select this profile, and then I'm going to select each one of these to get applied. So I'm going to add that one, and I can use my TriBall. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to position my TriBall in the center of this because it's going to have 2 mirrors basically. So we're going to select this location and the center of our part here. And what we're going to do is we're going to mirror and we can link it or make a copy of it. Either way, it doesn't really matter. We'll just make a linked copy of that to there. So we have that side. And then basically we do the same selection on this. We can select our part, select our outer one, select our inner one, turn that TriBall on. It's still going to be in the right location, and we can just mirror move in this case to get the opposite. So now we have that opposite case inside of there. So now the last thing we need to do is add our draft. So we can go into our feature, select our draft faces, pick our face here, and all we need to do is set the draft angle to 6 and select these. And you can see it's drafting that 6 degrees on those faces. So we can select all these to do that. We can get that draft and hit OK. And now we have our draft on the inside. So essentially, that is our part. There's no other blends or anything on it. So that's just a simple way to build that in IronCAD. And again, if you go into the part properties here, the material for this, I think they're setting it 7800. And inside of here is the value. And if you go into your mass properties here, that should be 286 for grams inside of there. So that was 7800 for that. And that should give you the value for that. Anyways, this is the model inside of here. So this should give you the right calculation for that. And hopefully you enjoy.